Hey everyone, welcome back to Unlocking the Future. Today, we're diving into something that has the potential to really shake things up.
Oh, yeah.
Decentralized data marketplaces. You know how we're constantly hearing about data privacy
Right.
and how valuable our personal information is?
Yeah.
Well, imagine a world where you actually had control over your data, not just who accesses it, but how it's used, and even getting paid for it. That's the promise of decentralized data marketplaces, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
I'm excited. It's fascinating to see how this concept is evolving. We're moving away from these huge data silos controlled by a handful of companies and towards a model where individuals are back in the driver's seat.
Okay, let's break this down. What exactly are decentralized data marketplaces, and how do they work?
Okay, so think of it like this. Imagine a digital marketplace where instead of buying and selling physical goods, you're buying and selling data. But here's the twist. There's no central authority controlling everything. It's all powered by blockchain technology, which allows for peer-to-peer transactions, cutting out the middlemen entirely. So instead of Facebook or Google holding all the cards, you get to decide who gets access to your data and under what conditions.
So it's like owning your data instead of just renting it out to these big tech companies.
That's a great analogy. And this shift in ownership has some pretty major implications, not just for individuals, but for entire industries. We're talking healthcare breakthroughs, more ethical advertising, you name it.
Now you've really piqued my interest. Let's get into some specifics. I know there are a bunch of different projects already out there trying to build these decentralized data marketplaces. What are some of the ones that are really catching your eye?
One that's doing some really interesting work is Ocean Protocol. They're all about privacy and ethical data use, especially when it comes to AI development. Imagine researchers being able to access a vast pool of health data to develop life-saving treatments, but with the guarantee that individual privacy is protected and people are compensated fairly for their contribution. That's the kind of future Ocean Protocol is working towards.
That sounds incredible. It's like having the best of both worlds, scientific advancement and individual control over sensitive information. Are there any other projects out there taking a different approach?
Absolutely. SingularityNet is another one that's worth keeping an eye on. They're heavily focused on the intersection of AI and data, exploring how data itself can become a tradable asset. Imagine individuals being able to sell their data directly to companies, developing AI models, almost like micro-entrepreneurs in the data economy.
That's a wild thought. And it really highlights the potential for these marketplaces to change, not just how we use data, but also who benefits from it.
Exactly. And then you have projects like BetaPace that are focusing on making these marketplaces accessible to everyone, regardless of their technical expertise or industry. They envision a future where data flows freely and securely between individuals, businesses, and researchers, unlocking all sorts of new possibilities.
It seems like there's a real diversity of approaches within this space, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
We've got projects focused on privacy, AI integration, and widespread accessibility. Are there any others that are really pushing the boundaries of what's possible?
Definitely. Streamer, for example, is doing some groundbreaking work with real-time data markets. This is huge for things like the Internet of Things. You have a constant stream of data coming from sensors and devices. Imagine being able to sell that real-time data to companies who need it, whether it's for traffic management, environmental monitoring, or even predicting consumer behavior.
So a screamer dot, even my smart refrigerator could be a mini data entrepreneur.
Yeah, exactly.
But what about companies that aren't ready to go fully decentralized yet? Is there a way for them to dip their toes into this new world?
There is. Beta-Raid, while not fully decentralized, is acting as a bridge towards those decentralized solutions. They're enabling direct data sales between companies, cutting out some of the traditional intermediaries, and giving us a glimpse of what a more decentralized future might look like.
It's like they're paving the way for these fully decentralized marketplaces to take off.
Precisely. And then we have Enigma, which is addressing another crucial aspect, privacy. They're using something called secure multi-party computation to allow data to be used in calculations without ever actually being revealed. So you could contribute your data to a research study, for example, and the researchers could analyze it to find patterns and insights, but they would never see your actual personal information.
That sounds like a major breakthrough for privacy-conscious individuals, like having your data contribute to the greater good without compromising your personal information.
Exactly. And that's just one example of the innovative approaches we're seeing. It's clear that decentralized data marketplaces are a rapidly evolving field with a lot of momentum behind them.
It's mind-blowing to think about the potential impact these marketplaces could have. But before we get too carried away, I know there are some challenges and considerations that need to be addressed as well, right?
You're absolutely right. While the potential is immense, we need to be realistic about the hurdles that need to be overcome. One of the biggest challenges is scalability. Blockchain technology, while revolutionary, is still relatively young, and it can struggle to handle the massive volume of transactions that a truly global data marketplace would generate.
So it's like trying to fit an ocean of data into a swimming pool.
Exactly. We need to find ways to make the technology more efficient and robust to handle the sheer scale of data we're talking about. And there are some promising solutions emerging, like layer 2 networks and off-chain storage, which essentially takes some of the burden off the main blockchain. But there's still a lot of work to be done.
It seems like a classic case of a groundbreaking technology, needing time to catch up to its own potential. But scalability isn't the only challenge, right?
Right. Another big hurdle is data quality. Without centralized authorities verifying data, it becomes even more critical to ensure the authenticity and value of the data being traded. Imagine someone trying to sell fake or useless data in a decentralized marketplace. That could undermine the entire system.
So how do you prevent that from happening? How do you ensure that the data being traded is actually valuable and trustworthy?
Yeah, robust data validation systems are going to be absolutely essential. Think about things like reputation systems, where buyers can rate the quality of data they've purchased, or data provenance tracking, which allows you to trace the origin of the data and verify its authenticity.
So it's like a decentralized version of consumer reviews or a digital chain of custody for data.
That's a great way to think about it, and these are just a couple of examples. The field is constantly evolving, with new and innovative solutions emerging all the time to address this challenge.
It sounds like we're talking about a whole new ecosystem of tools and technologies to ensure data quality in a decentralized world. What other challenges are out there?
Well, we also need to think about the regulatory landscape. How do we balance the decentralized ethos with international data privacy laws, like GDPR? It's a complex issue, and it's going to require some creative thinking and collaboration between policymakers, technologists, and legal experts.
It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole and to reconcile the free-flowing nature of decentralized systems with the often rigid structure of regulations.
Exactly. And then there's the question of user adoption. How do we get people comfortable with the idea of owning and trading their data? It's a pretty big shift from the current paradigm, where most people just passively hand over their data to big tech companies without a second thought.
It's almost like asking people to learn a whole new language when it comes to data. What do you think are the keys to making these marketplaces user-friendly and accessible to the average person?
Well, I think education is key. We need to help people understand the potential benefits of owning and controlling their data, not just the risks. And we need to make it easy and intuitive for them to participate in these marketplaces. Think about user-friendly interfaces, clear explanations, and strong security measures to build trust and confidence.
It's like any new technology, really. It needs to be user-friendly and offer clear benefits to gain widespread adoption.
Exactly. And then, of course, there are the ethical considerations. Is it right to treat data as a commodity? What are the potential risks of creating a market for personal information? These are complex questions, and there are no easy answers. It's crucial that we have open and honest conversations about these issues as we build these systems.
It's like opening Pandora's box. Once we start putting a price tag on personal data, it raises all sorts of ethical questions about privacy, fairness, and potential exploitation.
Absolutely. And we need to ensure that these marketplaces are designed with these ethical considerations in mind. We can't just replicate the problems of the centralized data world in a decentralized setting.
It's like building a house. You need a strong foundation built on ethical principles to ensure that the whole structure is stable and secure.
That's a great analogy. And finally, we can't forget about interoperability. For these marketplaces to truly thrive, we need to move beyond isolated ecosystems and create a more interconnected data landscape where different platforms can talk to each other seamlessly.
It's like the difference between having a bunch of separate islands and building bridges to connect them all, creating a whole new continent of data possibilities.
Exactly, and that's going to require collaboration and standardization across the industry. But if we can achieve that, the possibilities are truly limitless.
It sounds like we've got a complex puzzle here with technical, regulatory, ethical, and usability pieces that all need to fit together.
Yeah.
But despite all these challenges, I have to say I'm still incredibly optimistic about the potential of these decentralized data marketplaces.
I agree. The potential benefits are just too significant to ignore. And as we continue to innovate and address these challenges, I think we'll see these marketplaces truly start to transform the way we think about and interact with data.
Well, I'm definitely hooked. And I'm eager to delve even deeper into the technical side of things.
Okay.
What are the core technologies that are making all of this possible?
Let's take a closer look at the engine room of these marketplaces. It's fascinating stuff, and I think you'll be surprised at how some of these seemingly complex concepts are actually pretty straightforward once you break them down. So we've talked about the challenges and the vision, But let's get down to the nuts and bolts.
That sounds good.
What are the technological marvels that make these decentralized data marketplaces tick?
Yeah, let's geek out a bit.
Yeah.
Curious to see what's going on under the hood.
Well, at the heart of it all, we have smart contracts. These are essentially self-executing agreements, written in code and stored on the blockchain. They automate the entire data transaction process, ensuring that both the buyer and seller uphold their end of the deal without needing a third party to oversee everything.
So it's like having a digital escrow agent built right into the system.
Precisely. Once the terms of the contract are met, let's say the buyer has paid the agreed-upon price, the data is automatically transferred and payment is released. No human intervention needed.
Wow, that's pretty slick. It sounds like it would streamline things significantly and reduce the potential for disputes or fraud.
Absolutely. And then we have data tokens, which are a fascinating concept. Think of them like digital coupons that represent ownership of or access rights to specific data sets. So instead of just selling raw data, someone could create and sell tokens that give buyers the right to use their data in a specific way.
That's interesting. So it's like having different levels of access or permissions built into the data itself.
Exactly. Data tokens add this whole new economic layer to the ecosystem. They can be traded, bought, and sold, giving data providers a new way to monetize their information. It's like turning data into a digital asset with real value.
It sounds like it could open up all sorts of new possibilities for data-driven businesses and even individual data owners. But what about privacy? We talked about how important that is. How do these marketplaces ensure that sensitive information is protected?
Well, beyond the inherent security and transparency of the blockchain itself, many platforms are incorporating cutting-edge privacy technologies. Two of the most promising are zero-knowledge proofs and homomorphic encryption.
Those sound pretty high-tech.
They are, but the core concepts are surprisingly simple. Zero-knowledge proofs allow someone to prove they have certain information without actually revealing the information itself. It's like being able to prove you're over 21 without showing your ID.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. So, for example, I could prove to a buyer that my data meets certain criteria, like being within a specific age range, without actually giving them my birth date.
Exactly. And then there's homomorphic encryption, which is even wilder. It actually allows computations to be performed on encrypted data without ever decrypting it.
Wait, so you're telling me my data could be used in a study, but it would remain encrypted the entire time, protecting my privacy?
Precisely. It's like performing surgery without ever opening the patient up. These technologies are game changers for privacy in the data world.
Mind blown. So we've got smart contracts, automating transactions, data tokens, adding an economic layer, and these incredible privacy-enhancing technologies. What else is in this technological toolbox?
We can't forget about decentralized identifiers, or DIDs. Think of them like digital passports for individuals and organizations within these marketplaces. They allow for secure and verifiable identification without relying on central authorities.
So instead of using my email address or social security number to verify my identity, which could be risky, I would use my DID, which would be completely under my control.
Exactly. DIDs give individuals ownership and control over their digital identity, which is crucial in a decentralized world.
It sounds like the pieces are all starting to fall into place. We've got the technology to automate transactions, protect privacy, and establish trust. What does all this mean for the future? What kind of world could these decentralized data marketplaces create?
That's the million-dollar question. I think we're standing at the cusp of a pretty significant shift in how we view and interact with data, with implications that go far beyond the technical realm.
Okay, I'm ready for some crystal ball gazing. Paint me a picture of what this future might look like. All right, so let's shift gears a bit and get personal. We've talked a lot about the technical and societal implications of decentralized data marketplaces, but now I'm curious to hear your take on all of this. What really gets you excited about this whole movement?
You know what strikes me the most is the potential for empowerment. For so long, we've been passive participants in the data economy, handing over our information without much thought or control. Decentralized data marketplaces offer a chance to reclaim that ownership and become active agents in how our data is used and valued. That's a powerful shift.
I totally agree. It's like finally having a say in how our digital selves are represented and utilized.
Right.
But with that power comes responsibility, right? How do we ensure that individuals are equipped to make informed decisions about their data in this new landscape?
That's a good question. That's where education and awareness become absolutely critical. We need to move beyond the fear-mongering around data privacy and empower people with the knowledge and tools to navigate this new world confidently. Imagine a future where digital literacy includes understanding data ownership, consent, and the value of our personal information. That's the kind of future I'd like to see.
It's like giving people a compass and a map, to navigate the uncharted territory of the data economy.
Yeah.
We need to make sure everyone has the skills and understanding to find their way and make choices that align with their values.
Precisely. And it's not just about individual empowerment. I think these marketplaces also have the potential to drive incredible innovation. When data is readily available and ethically sourced, it can fuel advancements in healthcare, AI, scientific research, and countless other fields. Imagine the breakthroughs we could see if researchers had access to vast, diverse data sets while respecting individual privacy and consent.
It's like unlocking a treasure trove of insights that were previously hidden or inaccessible.
Right.
And with the right safeguards in place, we can tap into that potential while ensuring that the benefits are shared fairly and ethically. But are we putting too much faith in technology to solve these complex societal issues? I mean, decentralization is just a tool, right? It's not a magic bullet.
That's a really important point. Technology alone can't solve these problems. We need a multifaceted approach that includes ethical frameworks, robust regulation, and a cultural shift in how we view and value data. It's about finding the right balance between innovation and responsibility, between individual empowerment and collective well-being.
It's a balancing act for sure. And it's going to require open and honest conversations about the potential benefits and risks of these technologies. But I remain cautiously optimistic. The decentralized data movement has the potential to be a real game changer, but it's up to all of us to ensure it leads to a better future. What do you think our listeners can do to get involved and be a part of this conversation?
Well, first and foremost, stay curious. Keep learning about these technologies and how they work. There are tons of resources available online, from articles and videos to podcasts like this one. Don't be afraid to dive in and explore.
And don't just be a passive consumer of information. Engage in the conversation.
Exactly.
Share your thoughts, ask questions, and challenge assumptions.
Connect with others who are interested in this space. Join online forums, attend webinars, or even start your own local meetup group. The more we talk about these issues, the better equipped we'll be to shape the future we want to see.
It's all about being an informed and active participant in this evolving data landscape.
Well said. And, if you're feeling really adventurous, consider participating in some of these marketplaces yourself. There are platforms out there that allow you to control and share your data, earn rewards, and get a firsthand look at how this technology works in practice.
That's a great idea. It's like taking the decentralized data movement for a test drive.
Exactly. It's an exciting time to be a part of this movement. And I encourage everyone to get involved in whatever way feels right for them.
Well, folks, that wraps up our deep dive into the world of decentralized data marketplaces. It's been a whirlwind of information. But we hope you've come away with a better understanding of this fascinating and potentially transformative technology. Remember, the future of data is not predetermined. It's something we're all actively shaping through our choices and actions.
As always, we'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on decentralized data marketplaces? Are you excited about the possibilities, or do you have concerns? Share your insights, questions, and experiences in the comments below or on social media.
And if there are any other topics you'd like us to explore in future episodes, let us know. We're always on the lookout for new adventures in the world of technology and innovation.
Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and stay empowered in the ever-evolving world of data.
See you soon.